In 2003, William Shatner, along with Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens, released the 8th book in their Shatner-verse saga called Star Trek Captain's Blood. Set in the aftermath of Star Trek Nemesis, the Romulan Star Empire is on the brink of collapse. Shinzon's coup destabilized the entire government and set the stage for a civil war that would destabilize the Alpha Quadrant and cost the Federation 10 years and millions of lives to contain. So the Federation contacts the Romulan secret police known as the Tal Shiar to express support for their governance. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise is chosen to lead the diplomatic mission, but before they leave, Ambassador Spock is murdered on Romulus. This tragedy gives them the perfect cover story. They contact Captain James T. Kirk, who is busy prepping his 5-year-old son Joseph for the Starfleet entrance exam. But given his genetic makeup, daughter could work just as well. This book was well ahead of its time, and at one point Kirk hopes that when the time was right, Joseph would pick the gender identity that best suits them. But for now, just to keep it simple, he'd stick with calling him his son. With his son along for the ride, Kirk and company head to Romulus to investigate the death of Spock on a spy ship called the Calypso. It's an austere ship, but brings out the fun in the characters. Picard, having served on ships with every comfort imaginable, feels a sense of romantic nostalgia for pioneer space exploration. Kirk has fun teaching his son how to prank Picard. They never quite make it to Romulus, though. The Calypso is pulled into Reman orbit, and it turns out that the Remans believe that Joseph is their new Shinzon. Because Shinzon wasn't just the name of a Jean-Luc Picard clone, it was a title given to the one who liberates the Remans. This book does a fantastic job of developing the Reman culture, a perpetual slave planet. Remus is the world that all of the prisoners of Romulus are banished to. Anyone who is banished to Remus is considered Reman, regardless of their planet of origin. Remans who survive 20 years in the mines are able to change jobs into something less hellish, closer to the surface. It's the closest any Reman will get to the promised land. The Remans are being led by a shape-shifting sex goddess named Norinda. She reminds me of the surviving Martians in Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles. In the 1950 novel, the Martians are shapeshifters and telepaths, able to change into any person you wish, just to please you. In the Martian Chronicles, a lone surviving Martian is cornered by a town of humans, demanding the alien morph into their dead lost loved ones. Eventually, the alien is overwhelmed and dies from trying to be everything to everyone. But in Star Trek Captain's Blood, that's the point. Norinda is everything to everyone. She holds no limits to her transformation ability. Rooms full of men from different species fall to her feet, each seeing their deepest sexual desire. She leads the Jolan movement, built on the idea that love conquers all. But the sort of love she sells is damning, consuming entire worlds. It's not true love, because that requires an equal partnership. The love a cult sells is based on desperation and power. And that's where the book starts to show its seams. There are about 3 storylines too many in this book. After his faked assassination, Spock is put in a timeout dimension until the final act. Joseph being the new Shinzon doesn't really go anywhere, because why do the Remans need a new Shinzon liberator when they have an all-powerful sex goddess? This book should have been about Kirk being sent to Romulus to investigate the death of Spock and get caught up in the Romulan Civil War with a new Reman separatist movement. And according to Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens, that was the original plot. But when they turned that in, Paramount said, hey, this is actually the plot to Star Trek Nemesis, our upcoming feature film. And so they had to rewrite it. The character of Norinda could have been swapped out with any antagonist and it would still work. It seems like in the rewrite, they took material and storylines from the 3rd book in the trilogy and then brought it forward into the 2nd book and mashed it together on the fly. So much of the book is taken up with Narinda being a super-powered sex goddess, but that aspect of her character doesn't really affect the plot at all until the epilogue in the space station. There, the warning sent in the epilogue of Star Trek Captain's Peril has been received by the most powerful people in Starfleet. In that epilogue, Narinda shows them the love and salvation of the totality as she consumes the space station at the edge of Federation space. Here, much like the epilogue of Captain's Peril, the totality plot works. Everywhere else, it feels extraneous. Star Trek Captain's Blood has incredible parts, but the whole doesn't work for me. It's a stark improvement on Captain's Peril, but that's not really saying a whole lot. I just wish they had gone ahead and made the original book that would have been similar to Nemesis. The Ashes of Eden mirrors the Undiscovered Country in a lot of plot beats, and honestly, this team made it work. That book stands the test of time because of the deep understanding of the characters. With confidence in the work, Captain's Blood could have as well. As it stands, we get a wonderfully flawed middle chapter in the final trilogy of the Shatner-verse series.